Hello, I'm coming to you from this shade here. Back porch is too hot. So I'm going to do a little questionnaire about something I found yesterday and show some other things. And let us begin. I gotta reset this though. It adjusts for macro first, so I'll get back to you. Okay, I may have it set right. And what I found yesterday is this. Well, Mr. Tick, get off there. Taking my life in my own hands with these ticks today. And it's translucent can be. I mean, I don't even get no sun at this angle I'm at. And yeah. Anywho, if you've seen the video, you've seen it. If you haven't, then you haven't. But first, we're going to compare it to some things. And because it's from an unknown origin that I haven't figured out yet. First, compare it to the other point I found in that same place. In the drip line a year ago. It was broke and then made real sharp. Well, it doesn't have no damage on it that I can see at all. It's perfect. They put it back. And it has this old, what do they call it, tertiary in the books. These tertiary to the center flaking. Median ridge on that side. And it's flat on this side. But it's about the same width at this point. Now I don't know if they were made by the same people, the same guy. I'm suspecting they were. Maybe one's for dart and one's for knife. This one has severely ground edges, but not a ground inside. This one was severely ground all the way around, has a ground in base too. This one has little teeny weeny little nubs coming off of it. It's got little ears. Little auriculate ears like you would see, like I guess on a Cumberland. Maybe not. It ain't no Cumberland, I ain't saying that. But I'm just saying, I've kind of had a notion of Hasket. Although, you know, that's way out west. There's just no evidence to back it up, but still. Now, Agate Basin comes to mind because of these median ridges. This one's more flat on this side, although it's close to having a median ridge. Here's the tip, and the tip has been resharpened. I guess this was a knife at the end. Even if it was a dart at the beginning, I'm thinking it was a knife at the end. Well, the other one got turned into, I guess into a scraper. Well, it doesn't have no wear on it at all. But this one was in the drip line, this one was in the back. And here's that tip. It looks like it was resharpened before they stopped using it. And I don't know what this material is, but I think it has little bitty fossils in it. I ain't for sure. I'm not good with material. Maybe it's Burlington, I don't know. Now here's an Agate Basin to compare it with. And this Agate Basin comes from Ticky Cave. And which is a few miles away. And you can see the base is decidedly different on them. Does that mean it's different tribes version? Or maybe one of them's several hundred years older or something? But this is from, I found this a few minutes after I found my St. John Samba tree, so it's from the same era from that, I'd say, as that. So this is actually, I think, a really old Agate Basin, and not a later one. You can see it's got that flaking. Now it's a lot thinner, it's a lot flatter, and it's ground heavy on the sides but not in the base, and the basal dent is even, is flat, unlike that, which has a curve to it, an inside curve. And this one is flat on the inside, but this one has an inside curve into it, inside the base there. Kind of curves a little bit. It's dented on one side only. Now his also came from Ticky Cave from around the same time frame. found on a different day. But from around the same, it has down here where it ain't been resharpened, it has some diagonal flaking going across it. And it would be medium ridge. It has a medium ridge up to here. I guess the material didn't allow for it any further up. And here's the flaking in it, and here's the base. This has no grinding that I can find. I guess a big lance, big blade or something. And it's been heavily resharpened before they got rid of it, I believe. Now here's the Angostura comes to mind too. And here's an Angostura, which they're very Cersei-like from Goshen Cave, but this right here was below the Dalton layer, so I'm pretty sure it's not a Cersei. It was lower than the Daltons in Goshen Cave. And no grinding, and really fine edge work in the base right here, really fine pressure edge work. If this were a Cersei, it'd be freaking ground to hell. But very similar, but the way it's formed is totally different. It curves up into it. All these have a more straighter line. Here's another one I'm calling Angostura from Goshen. And you can see it's more of a shouldered point. This one's kind of thick. It's kind of Preggers. You can see the flaking on it. More inclined to be serrated. And the flaking doesn't have these big, uniform, real wide. I think they call it tertiary. I ain't for sure. Flaking. That's why if you're looking in the books, that's what Haskett seems to come to mind. Here's the base. Now it's also curved in base, kinda. This one was straight. It's a little bit of a curve. It's straight more. This came from a crescent hang. Now here's a. Let's see, something from Paleo Times is an example with ears. It's like when you get into more paleo, it's like there's eared auriculate things like this. Hand-peeled Dalton from the Dalton hang. This came from Dalton hang. Here's a Dalton that's fluted. You can see kind of an auriculate kind of tail nubs. And here's this, either small Dalton or San Patrice from the marker spot. And here's two from the spring hang. Here's two, I figure, Angosturas, which are kind of a blade Angosturas with no grinding. Actually, I think this one's ground in here. It's been resharpened on one side and over here. Down to here. You can see this big old base on it. Goes through, but you can see the bases on them don't have the same flake, even though they have fine flaking on them. They don't have the same flaking as the face. I said, I don't know. I can't say that this one. Maybe this one. Maybe it's not an Angostura. I don't know. It's hard to tell on these things. Now here is my closest thing, in my opinion, that I have to an Eden from the crescent hang. And it is heavy ground all the way through. Heavy ground right in here. Now this side's been resharpened heavily. And if you just look at this side by itself, you can see it's shouldered. Really lightly shouldered. The tip has been resharpened terribly. But it's to an Eden that I know of, so I don't know. I don't have my books anymore because of a fire, and so I have to go off memory. And I do remember, I think, seeing Edens or First Views or something which kind of look like this. But I don't know, you guys. Just what do you think? that is. I mean, what do you think that's closest to? As you see, this severe translucency. I don't even know what that material is, but I think it's got little teeny fossils in it. Little round crinoid thingers or something. Anywho, so long.